Good evening and welcome to today's episode of NWCR's Removing the Liberal Blindfold for this, the 30th day of October in the year of our Lord 2024. Is it a small wonder why New Mexican voters always seem to vote for the party that is in the active process of destroying our country and our state? Today's article tells of one such entity that tells lies in the form of getting people to know their candidates. From the Opinion Post News comes this one. Shady mailer seeks to spew last-minute disinformation about Harrell ahead of election. Those in office on the left don't care for the truth. If a lie will serve to keep them in office, just as well. It happens all over this nation, and here in New Mexico too. As the race for New Mexico's 2nd Congressional District tightens between Republican former Congresswoman Yvette Harrell and far-left Democrat Representative Gabe Vasquez, outside groups are trying to drop last-minute disinformation about Harrell into the district before Election Day. In the last couple of days, voters have received mailers from a group calling itself the, quote, Center for Voter Information, unquote, which is a leftist, dark money 501c4 advocacy group well known for helping Democrats with deceptive mailers against Republicans. The group's mailer from longtime Democrat campaign strategist Tom Lopak reads, quote, The Center for Voter Information provides important election information to voters like you across the country. We asked voters in New Mexico what they would like to know about the candidates for the U.S. House of Representatives running in the election on Tuesday, November the 5th. The candidates in your district are Democrat Gabe Vasquez and Republican Yvette Harrell, unquote. It then goes on to list 3 topic areas: supporting small business programs, checks on gun purchases, and cutting Social Security and Medicare. The group claims Harrell does not support small businesses, referencing 2022's House Bill 5376, which was a Democrat's bill to increase taxes and put $80 million into the IRS to hire thousands of new agents to come after American taxpayers. The bill was entirely supported by the Democrats, with not a single Republican voting for it. To claim Vasquez supports small businesses, the mailer vaguely references an August 12, 2022 X post from the Democrats supporting the legislation Harrell opposed due to its fiscal irresponsibility and its hardness to small businesses. On the contrary, Harrell has won awards from small business groups in New Mexico during her time in the legislature and in the U.S. Congress. The National Federation of Independent Businesses, or NFIB, the nation's leading small business advocacy organization, has endorsed Harrell. Sharon Sussing, NFIB Senior National Political Director, said, quote, During her time in Congress, Yvette Harrell held a 100% NFIB voting record and proved to be a strong ally of small business. Her record of supporting pro-small business legislation speaks to her dedication to helping Main Street grow, and we are proud to endorse her today, unquote. Under checks on gun purchases, CVI's mailer references an extremist anti-gun bill that Harrell opposed, while also referencing Vasquez's support for unconstitutional attacks on New Mexicans' Second Amendment rights. The bill referenced 2022's Senate Bill 2938 massively increased background checks to make buying firearms harder for Americans and created unconstitutional red flag laws on a federal level. Under cutting Social Security and Medicare, the group falsely wrote that Harrell supported cutting them, which is patently false, referring to a constitutional amendment aiming to balance the budget, similar to the one New Mexico already has. It claims Vasquez opposes a balanced budget amendment and Harrell supports it. CVI writes that passing such an amendment quote, would almost certainly result in drastic cuts to Social Security and Medicare, unquote, which again is a false statement. Ironically, at the end of the mailer, Lepak writes, quote, a candidate's position is sometimes more complicated than a yes or no. We have done our best to represent each candidate in a fair and reasonable way, unquote, despite deceiving voters on Herald's record. According to Influence Watch, quote, as of September 2020, CVI and VPI have generated 939,000 registration applications and 2 million vote-by-mail applications for the 2020 election. These applications are generally targeted towards demographic groups which tend to support the Democratic Party and have been extensively criticized by state-level officials, unquote. The group has also gotten into hot water over its work to support partisan causes, which were revealed in multiple sources such as Sasha Eisenberg's book, The Victory Lab, The Secret Science of Winning Campaigns. Eisenberg writes, quote, even though the group was officially nonpartisan for tax purposes, there was no secret that the goal of all of its efforts was to generate new votes for Democrats, unquote. CVI also has deep ties to the Clinton Foundation. That should tell you a lot right there. The Influence Watch report further noted, quote, the Center for Voter Information makes independent expenditures for or against candidates in each election cycle. In the 2020 election, CVI spent $533,820 in support of Democratic presidential nominee Joe Biden, Democrat of Delaware, and no funds for other candidates. It is important for voters to independently verify information about candidates and their positions ahead of the election, which will be held on November 5th, and be very wary of seemingly innocuous groups' mailers trashing candidates without verifying the information for accuracy and truth. And now we'll remove the liberal blindfold. The Democrat Party should be ashamed of itself because when they are caught red-handed doing something wrong, they usually double down and continue doing that something wrong harder and with more effort. They are not learning by their mistakes. Even in rallies for Kamala, when she gets booed, which is not good to be booed at your own rallies, she just looks around and then down like, this will stop in time and then I will be elected. Folks, we had better hope we are not that stupid. Research. Find out what the other side is saying and check it out. You may be surprised, especially here in New Mexico. From the Bible it says, from Romans 13 verse 1, let every person be subject to the governing authorities, for there is no authority except from God, and those that exist have been instituted by God. The sad part is, when Trump announced a rally here in Albuquerque, which will be tomorrow, the Democrat Party spokesman was triggered by it, and he said, quote, New Mexicans are set to reject his MAGA extremism and divisive rhetoric yet again, unquote. The sad part is, MAGA does not mean something bad for America. As a matter of fact, MAGA is good for America, so I guess that just shows the Democrats hate America. And they do. Bob Dylan once said, I think of a hero as someone who understands the degree of responsibility that comes with his freedoms. Americans must come together to save this nation from the left and realize that we do have freedoms, but with that freedom is a responsibility to preserve it. And right now we have a whole Democrat Party who will not accept that responsibility. They go against it every chance they get. Thank you for watching, and as I will always say, we will not be ruled. NWCR is heard through Conservative Nation Media, or C&M, from behind the silver microphone of freedom with the voice of reason in this increasingly unreasonable world where America always wins. Please subscribe to my video accounts on Rumble and BitChute if you want to know what is really going on here in America. ABC, CBS, NBC, CNN, and MSNBC and others will not tell you the truth. Only the liberal talking points of doom and gloom will come from them. You must use your love for America when voting, my friends. It is imperative for our survival. Tomorrow, I would be doing an update because I don't work, but that day Trump is coming to Albuquerque for a rally, and I am going to be there. Have a good day, and God bless you all.